Hello, Lana. I'm excited to talk about how you made your first million and how other people can as well. So, first, I want to start with a timeline. What year of the business were you when you made your first million?
I think I was second year.
Second year.
Second
Okay.
year. Yeah.
And what was first year, just for context for the audience?
Honestly, I don't remember that far back, but we also had raised 300,000. So like, and a lot of that went into building the product. It didn't go into marketing, but the first year was really just like figuring out a lot of the learnings that I think we're going to talk about today.
So, okay.
Like if I were to do it again, I would do it in the first year.
You can't just like
I would make a million in the first year.
Yeah, but you can't just make $1 million in the first year unless you
listen
to this episode.
So I 100% think I could make $1 million in the first year.
Back up for the audience. In case they don't know what Floom is, give us a little brief overview of what Floom is.
Okay, so Floom was a marketplace in the flower space. Is, but I don't own it anymore. And a marketplace is essentially like an Etsy or a Depop, a place where multiple people add their own products or their own images or whatever it might be. And in our case, it was florists. So it was predominantly software. Like we didn't have any product. We just built this software where a florist could upload their own products. And then our intention was like, how do we sign up the best ones, keep it super curated, and get it out to customers so people have somewhere better to send flowers from, and use independent florists at the same time.
Okay, so year 2 was your first million. By the way, I think that was Bala's first million as well, year 2. So interesting.
Yeah, that's not crazy. 100% you would be able to do that in the first year now.
Well, maybe now having been a second.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, a second time founder for sure. But I'm talking about people just starting out. I feel like the first year, it's tough.
You're learning.
Maybe year 2, you can get your first million.
Yeah, but like you said, unless you listen to this podcast, and then you've got all the tips. We learned for you.
Perfect. Okay, so actually, do you think if you really put your mind to it and use our strategies, could you do your first million in the first year without funding, maybe?
I mean, there's so much more that goes into running a business that is so unique to every single business. But I think, yes, if you're very strategic about how you think about growth and where you think about putting your dollars, I do think. And also, like, $1 million is mindset, right? Like, don't have a limiting mindset that that's a lot of money. You know, like a lot of people will think like, oh, 100,000, stop. You know, like 100 million is a lot of money.
But it's good to start with a goal and say your first goal is 1 million.
But I think the first thing is like stop limiting your own mindset of thinking like $1 million's hard to achieve in a year. It's totally achievable. And I'm not telling you how you do it in a year here. I'm saying how you do it. But as a first-time founder, it's definitely harder, but it's possible.
Okay. So before you get your first million, let's also talk about you have your idea. Yeah. And maybe since we have done a CPG episode, or we will do one, Bala style, let's talk more tech Floom style. Okay. Like you have your idea and it's a tech one. What then? And you're not like an engineer. You're not a tech person. Like how do you go about making that a reality?
Yeah. So the first thing is if you're not technical, I would build a list of everything you have to do between today and getting it live, right?
How do you even know what you have to do if you're not technical?
And when I say have to do, I don't mean like you have to learn to code. I mean like you have to find a developer to have a conversation with about what you need to do. Yep. You know, so like you just think through that process. Like, do you need a website? Do you need an email address? Like, what are all the things you need? What can you do yourself? And then like, what are you going out and asking other people for? Or who are you hiring? Like you need a UX designer, you need a graphic designer, like all of those different things. So like make that list and then find a technical partner, which doesn't need to be a co-founder, but like a freelancer or somebody who you think like really gets it, you really trust and is going to be like your partner on planning out what it looks like from a technical perspective.
And if you don't have money and you don't plan to raise money, like because you can't for whatever reason, but you have a tech idea, like That screams raise money to me, but if you can't and you need to bootstrap it, what would you do? Would you like get a co-founder that's technical? Like how would you do this?
Yeah, you would definitely get a co-founder that's technical. We do live in an age of not just AI, but like of pre-packed services where when I built Floom 10 years ago, Shopify Plus didn't exist. Like now Shopify has a marketplace pre-built product.
Yeah, Shopify Collective.
Yeah.
We use it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's really no limitation or like no excuse anymore, even without money. Like the investment you need is time. Like you need the time to figure those things out.
Right.
And you don't need to be amazing at them, but you have to figure out just how to get from A to B, start making some revenue, and then you can bring on people that perfect it, I think.
And you need the mindset. You need that like producer style, I'll figure it out mindset.
Yeah, but
where you just figure it out.
If you're a founder, like you need that scrappy mindset anyway, right?
So first things first, before idea, adopt that mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then having built a tech platform, what sort of things would you look out for if you were early stage thinking of an idea? Like what are like the pitfalls? What are some things you're looking out for?
I think one of the biggest limitations to people starting to make money is the impression that things have to be perfect. Definitely. And it's same with a CPG product. Like, I think to make money, you just need to get something out there, even if it's really fucking shit.
Yes.
And you need to then find a subgroup of people that you can test it on. You know, so like maybe if it's a cleaning product, instead of being like, oh, everyone cleans, I'm going to try to like get everyone to use this. You're going to like go to a place where Facebook groups where there's a ton of moms and it's a non-toxic cleaning product. So you're just speaking to the moms, right? Yeah. So like I think the biggest mistake with tech is like there's no end. There's always stuff to keep adding to it. You know, like you want subscription and then you want this and you want this feature and you want this add-on. It's like just build like the most basic of things you need so somebody can order something and get that out in the world.
Yeah, because especially then it's like you only have a small amount of customers. Yeah. So it's better to test on them. And then when you have more customers, it's harder to test things because they remember.
Yeah, exactly. And you're putting your focus into the wrong things if you're spending money and time perfecting a product before you even know if it has product market fit, right? True. Like your first money really should just go into this basic thing. And then from that, you will understand, does this have product market fit? And I think once you've done that, then you can start to think about investing money into a product that is going to make ultimately more money.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. And then, so what about your first customers? How do you go about getting your first 100 customers and then your first 1,000 customers?
So I think the first, say it's 100 customers for when you're proving product market fit. Like I said, like find subgroups that you think this really makes sense for. A lot of people, I think, go to friends, and that, in my opinion, has less value because not all of your friends are the users of your product, and not all of your friends are honest. Unless I'm your friend, then I'll give you very
tough,
crushingly
truth.
Honest.
She gives the
feedback.
Tough truth every time.
I pissed so many people off.
I'm sure.
Even at the beginning of Floom, I would have friends do shit, and they were like, "I just think when you give feedback, like you could be a little softer." And I was like,
"Can we talk about that?
I need to stop."
How the hell does your team handle that? Because I feel like I've been personally offended by you a few times.
I'm not rude. I think I'm just not fluffy.
You're not fluffy, but I am fluffy.
You're super fluffy.
We're opposite.
But I'm impatient. So when people are fluffy, I'm like, okay, let's go.
You don't
What's
like
the point?
My fluff?
No, I love your fluff. Okay. This is taking a whole different route. Anyway, let's get back to the question. Yeah, so 100 customers, pick a subgroup, ideally not friends.
Yeah.
Like I think
that's smart.
I actually think Reddit is so
interesting.
Like, who are the people who sit on Reddit and have fucking conversations? Like, to me, that is
my brother-in-law all day long.
I know, but like, to me, that is the perfect person who, if you like got on these channels and you realize, one, they're already interested because you're searching by like an interest, and you were like, hey, I'm building this new product. Can I send it to you? Do you want to try it? Or
that's so smart.
Or just here's the website. Like, I feel like that is the kind of person who would be so down for shit like that.
So let's back up. I want to talk about the Reddit idea because I actually haven't heard that as advice.
I just love Reddit. I mean, I had never used Reddit until I became a mom.
It's just really good advice though. So let's say you have an idea. Let's say you said a cleaning product.
Yeah.
how would you go about putting it on Reddit? What if you didn't even have the product yet? You just had the idea. Would you go on Reddit or would you wait to get
No,
product?
I would wait till I had a first product.
Okay.
And then I would search like non-toxic cleaning or whatever. And then I'd see all the conversations on there. And then I'd go on there and be like, hey, I just launched this product. Even though it's not like launched to the world, but it's still out there. Like you do want to see if people will pay for it. You know, you're not necessarily like gifting it.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of that. But like product market fit is like people pay for this. Sure, people will take shit for free. And it can be at a discounted price. Like I'm testing out this new idea I have. It's 70% off, whatever. But I do think there should be some exchange of like monetary value, even if it's like the cost.
Oh, like really interesting. Because I feel like if I saw that, I don't know that I'd pay for anything.
But that's why Reddit's so good, because these people, like, they're on there already looking for these solutions.
Yeah, you might find. Yeah, you might.
And I think people like to back the underdog.
Or you just pay for shipping and you charge them $9.99 or something.
Whatever. Like, and you're like in exchange for.
And then you have their email.
Yeah, and you can be really honest about like what you put in there and why you built this company. And it's a good way, I think, to get early customers. I mean, for Floom, our first ones were businesses. Like we knew that businesses wanted, well, not just businesses, but it was like creative and fashion brands. So it was creative agencies and fashion brands. And that's what I did. I just made like massive lists of them. And then I would find, because I used to be a PA, when I was at Burberry, I started my whole career as a PA. I would find Facebook groups where PAs were. And then I would go in and I would
real detective work. Okay.
And then I would literally make codes for that company because I knew PAs sent so many flowers, but they couldn't. And for creative companies, they wanted it to like look a certain way, right? Like they didn't want to use these big online companies that
we won't name,
that just deliver shit.
Right.
But they also don't have the time to like find a florist, call them, and then the florist is sending them like a photo of a receipt that isn't going to be approved by the finance team when you're using a company credit card. So I was like, that was my sell to them.
That's
like,
smart.
I have created this solution for you. When I was a PA, I had this frustration. And I would just like go to PA events, sit on PA groups. And that was like literally my in was just like PAs. And they were paying for it.
So were you giving them like a $20
money.
off code?
Yeah, I'd give them a code and I'd also be like, and I would put it in a visual. So I wasn't just sending a code. I would be like, I'd mock it up like with a flower background and say, this is the code. And I'd be like, feel free to share this on like your internal chat with the entire company.
Wow.
And that's how we got our first users.
It's so smart because it's kind of like anyone could do it. Say you're starting an acne skincare brand.
Yeah.
You can find a group of people with acne that are desperate to try something. And I think that is such a great way to find customers. I've never heard.
There's crazy
It's very creative.
There's crazy forums on the internet.
It's very creative.
Even just Instagram or TikTok, right? Like if you search a tag for something like that, you will find other people who have those problems. Start commenting, start DMing them. Like there's ways to get into communities like that. I think that really make a difference.
Okay. I really like that.
So that's first 100 customers.
Wait, really quick also, especially because yours is a marketplace.
Yeah.
How did you approach the florist? Because what if they thought it was like spammy or there wasn't enough traction yet?
Yeah. Florists, it was a completely different sell. And that's because florists are a unique kind of person where, you know, they're incredibly busy. They do early mornings and they're generally quite offline. So it was very much like walking into their stores.
Oh, really? And who'd you have do that? Did you do it? Or?
I did it. I sold all the first florists.
Because this seems like a little bit of a chicken and an egg situation. Like, how do you...
That's like the classic marketplace issue, though.
Yeah, you need the florist.
Maybe we need an episode on like marketplaces.
Yes,
but
let's do that in a separate
building
marketplace.
Liquidation...
Okay.
Sorry, like building liquidity is like one of the biggest questions around marketplace. Like, what do you build first? Do you build customers? All those different things.
Let's do a separate deep dive.
Yeah.
I love that one as a deep dive.
Okay. So that's 100 customers.
Okay, 100 customers. Now
Then
1,000.
1,000 customers, or really like how you get to your next million. I think it's then like going through the channels, right? So like you have these core customers, you have to speak to them, those first ones. Like, what did you like? What did you not like? Like from that, you have to build the product that I think you feel is ready for the next stage of your business. And then you start to think about the channels that we all use, you know, so TikTok, Instagram, SEO, X, whatever it's going to be, think about what suits you. I think what people do is like, they do everything. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. I think that it's super overwhelming. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you see that they don't do it consistently and they don't do it right. And like, what have we learned about all of these platforms is like, they like consistency. Mm-hmm. And also you have to have the ability to test, and they're all different.
So pick what, 3?
I would say pick 2 to 3.
Okay.
Like we did X, Facebook, Instagram, and we also like heavily did SEO, which was like writing blogs. And it was way too many. Like our Facebook was always...
I don't even know what you'd say on X.
Honestly, we just felt like you had to do everything.
Did you have TikTok?
I mean, it was Twitter back then, obviously, but we didn't have TikTok back then.
Are you on TikTok now?
No.
Okay. Not you personally.
Oh.
Floom.
Floom is not on TikTok now.
Feels like
we
they
tried
definitely should be, but
we tried it a few times and we just like didn't have the time to focus on it.
Yeah, so pick 3, get 2 to 3, get good at it.
Yeah,
I think that's smart.
Yeah, like what are you comfortable with, but also like where does your demographic live? Mm-hmm. Like, is it a Gen Z buyer? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. Like maybe this is, I don't know, a hearing aid. Like you're not going to go on fucking TikTok, are you? I don't think old people are hanging out on TikTok.
Right. Bala didn't have TikTok for the first several years.
And it makes sense for Bala.
Yeah.
You know, but like when we were like starting premium, I think like TikTok just didn't make sense for us. So yeah, pick a few and like really drill down on those, I think, and then figure out like what works. And then with spend, I think what people also do wrong to like trying to like maximize reach is they'll like invest money in ads in everything. Like I used to do that in the beginning. I was like, I want this ad to look like it has engagement, so I'm going to put $20 behind it or $50 behind it. Not this ad, this post. Mm-hmm. And then you realize that you've spread your budget across a bunch of posts that don't fucking make sense, as opposed to like being like, it's fine if this totally tanks.
Yeah.
But if it's doing well organically, then you put money behind it, and just being way more strategic about like how you take that small amount of money to turn it into something that's big.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So now we're at first 1,000 customers. Like any other, I feel like we need more tips on getting to 1 million. Give me something.
I mean, I feel like I just got you guys to 1 million.
What if nothing's working? Give me something else.
Then your product sucks, dude. I don't know.
No, then you need to pivot, whether it's the product or the marketing or the brand name. Pivot. There's always a pivot around the corner.
Agree. And I had several pivots.
Yeah, and so did we. Yeah. And one other thing that you should do is just every single morning, it's kind of like a gratitude journal thing, but like the next goal you're trying to unlock, just like write 1 million over and over and over. And it gets in your psyche and you're working towards that. So that's my little advice.
I don't know if I would do that personally. That works for Natalie, not for Lana.
It works for me though.
It works for Natalie.
So it doesn't hurt you to just try it.
I will tell you what my version of that is.
Yes, tell me.
Is I follow and read a lot about massive exits. Like company exits.
Okay.
Like when a company, like I'm like really clued into like companies that are selling for a lot of money.
Okay.
So when I think when you normalize something, you know, when you're like, I can't buy that thing, it's too expensive.
It's the abundance mindset.
You just like, you get comfortable with something. Yeah. And I think having managed a team, like eventually we got to 45, I realized almost like as a leader, a lot of my job was changing their mindset, their own limiting mindsets about how big we were capable of being.
Keeping them excited.
Yeah, and so like, and Burberry did that really well. Like they made you drink the fucking Kool-Aid. How? They were just like, the CEO would always just like share articles about like how amazing we were doing or how big we are. And I would do the same with my team. I would like constantly share like PR across the whole business. And I would also share these big exits with businesses that were similar to ours. Like, look, it's happening. Like we're building something new.
But then didn't they adoption want more, is hard. More money or something?
No, because it wasn't about us.
Yeah.
It was just like helping them believe. I think when you're the founder, you're like, of course I could make 100 million in revenue. Of course I could sell for $1 billion. Like that is your job. That's why you started it. But when you're an employee of a company, I don't think you always have that mindset. And I think if you're going to a company that wants to achieve that, you have to have that mindset. So it's almost like your job as a leader to like create that mindset. And maybe like as a founder, if you don't have that mindset today, like if you think 100 million is so much money and you're never going to achieve that, like that's the first job you need to do to making $1 million, is like get comfortable with the fact that it's not that much money and you can make it.
That's interesting though, but that is like writing in the notebook $1 million.
I know, but also like I mean, when I said that's a Natalie tactic, I mean like I don't write those things in notebooks.
Okay, but it is crazy because if you put it out there, you can achieve it. And I actually know somebody that I cannot name.
But just writing it is not the same as believing it.
Yes, right? And believe.
Like,
right and believe.
Like see other people do it.
I have a person that I know that I cannot name that started their company, bootstrapped it. They said randomly, I'm going to sell for $150 million. Yeah. And I said, you're nuts. And why? Like, you can sell for a lot less and you're fine. Like, but why that number? They just said it every single time for several years. Probably 5 years down the line, they just privately sold for a little under that. And I am shocked. And that to me is a mindset thing. And that's whether you write it down or you believe it, they just believed that from the beginning, even when they didn't have sales yet. Yeah. And so set your goals high.
I mean, I said I was going to sell for $1 billion to everybody. And I'm going to tell people now I did not do that.
I did not do that. That's crazy.
Don't come at me for investment. I did not sell for $1 billion.
I don't set mine that high. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay. So what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to hit their first 1 million in sales?
I think there's the like diversifying your budget, like we talked about, like putting money into too many things, trying too many things instead of just like dedicating it to one. Mm-hmm. And then I also think like if I were to start a company again, because I raised money right away, like I never thought about like can this business make money? I never thought about like margin versus like cost per acquisition. You know, like unit economics like wasn't a concept that I understood.
Same.
It was just like, I believe in this, I'll figure it out. Like the concept of like, oh, you need to make X if you're gonna spend Y in order to make a profit was like, what?
Same. I didn't set my margins right either. No. That's crazy.
So I think that especially if you're gonna bootstrap, like think about the numbers. You know, like believe that you'll figure it out. And even if you think about the numbers, you will probably have to change things.
How do you set your unit economics right, though, not knowing what you're going to have to spend to acquire a customer?
I think you can now like do pretty diligent research on
ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, on like what competitors are getting away with. Yep. And then put like 20% bump on top of that, because like
buffer.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to have that kind of success right away, right? Like you need learnings. Mm-hmm. So assume the worst. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely thinking more about unit economics is the one thing I would do. Like I would, and I'm not saying a lot of people start food companies, but in my experience, like I would never do something perishable ever.
The inventory
expires. Delivering it, the cost of like keeping it cold, delivering it, like there's all of these additional costs. You need to think through
logistics for sure.
Totally. Or like even with a cleaning company, right? Like you're shipping liquid. It's fucking heavy. Like there's so many, and I'm not saying talk yourself out.
You're talking to me about shipping heavy products.
Never again. Surely you're like, this is the bane of my existence.
I will do when I get an earring package in the mail, I'm physically jealous of like that company and how easy. But these are things you would never
think about, right?
Yeah, shipping. We have a 35-pound, and we're going into heavier 35-pound beam that costs $35 to deliver to the customer. Yeah. We can't charge the customer $35. So it's like you have to eat that shipping cost. There's so many things I
think there's also the mentality out there, or there used to be. In the past, when people could raise a lot of money, there's less now when like profitability is important.
Yes.
But there's a mentality out there that it's okay if you lose money on the first order. Mm-hmm. It'll be the second order or the third order where you make that profit, right? Because you're putting like all your spend into acquiring in the first order. And that's like what LTV to CAC ratio is all about. And because I raised VC, I definitely bought into that mentality, you know, and I would sell like, yes, we don't make money on the first order. Like in my story, it was like, but we make it by the third.
Yeah.
The reality is like, the likelihood of someone buying flowers 3 times a year is actually so fucking low.
Really?
So, yes.
I've bought flowers from Floom 3 times this year.
I know. And there's unique scenarios, but most of the time, like the average person buys for like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Or Mother's Day.
Or you're not loyal and you Google Floom and I got
you go to completely different competitors.
Another competitor.
Totally. And we, at that point, also only delivered to London. Like, you're not sending 3 times to the same person. You're sending 3 times to different people if you are sending 3 times a year. So, like, really think about what the repeat of that customer is. Like, if you can build a business model that has, like, a very few amount of SKUs and also has a repeatable, like, fucking diapers. Genius.
Hero diapers. Everybody needs to switch to HIRO diapers, seriously, because they are
what are
the
they?
most
I use Coterie.
No, you need to switch right now. So I just quick tangent.
Okay.
They are the most eco-friendly diapers. You put a little they come with a tablet. You put it in when it's done, and within months, I'll show you it. Within months, it turns into fungi, like a mushroom. So it decomposes, and diapers are the number one thing, or one of the highest rated things in the landfill.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to switch to HIRO Hero diapers.
That's amazing.
I'm obsessed with it.
That's really cool. Can you then use it in your own compost?
I don't know. I'll ask them.
Yeah. If it turns into fungi, I assume so. It's because I compost at home.
Yeah. We could probably we should look into it. But yeah, highly recommend that company. Also, back to repeat. If you can come up with a subscription-based company, mouth tape, even earrings, like something subscription or repeat, like that's what I'm looking for if I ever did another business, because
same.
Bala is lower repeat because, you buy weights once.
Yeah, you need SKUs to get SKUs to get repeat.
Exactly. So repeat has always been our challenge. Yeah. And if you can solve that, like from day one, you're better off.
Yeah. So basically how to get to $1 million is change your business model until it's
repeat or
subscription with one SKU.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that was super helpful. So I think we can move on to hot takes.
Perfect.
Okay, so do you need revenue to pay yourself a salary?
So should you be a business, like, what do you mean? Oh, right. So yeah, should you be making money before you take a salary?
Should you take a salary day one or even year one, or should you be making real revenue first?
I think that if you raise money, you should take a salary immediately.
If you raise money.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you don't, there's no money to take. And it obviously has to go back into the business.
100%.
It has to go back into the business.
Try like 2 years.
Yeah, agree. But I don't like the concept of like I should work for free just because I have this idea. Like if you've raised money, like you should be paid to be doing the work. And you're not like, I think it was like a 40 grand pay cut when I started, and I was already making nothing. This is 10 years ago, and I needed something to like pay my rent, and like, because otherwise I didn't have savings. I wouldn't have been able to access this. And this is one of the reasons that I felt I had to raise money at all. But I also didn't raise that money saying like, I'm not going to take a salary. And I think it's important to remind yourself of your own value.
Yeah. I think if you raise money, that's
of course.
The answer.
If not, it has to go straight back into the business. And if you raise 100 grand, don't pay yourself 100 grand. Right. Obviously.
If you raise 100 grand, you probably also shouldn't take a salary.
Yeah. If you raise $1 million and you want to pay yourself like
a little bit
a year to help you get through, I think that's totally acceptable and should be done.
Okay. Next one. When to quit your day job, or don't quit your day job. It's not a question, but when do you quit? Yeah, when do you quit your day job?
It depends on how much money you have. I think you should quit it right away.
I say the opposite.
Really?
I literally I told somebody today, wait like a year.
But you didn't have a job.
2 years, my day job. Max didn't quit his day job for 2.5 years.
You guys didn't have jobs.
We got back from Asia and we got full-time jobs in advertising. Right. And we literally, Max didn't quit his job until we were so scared to quit our jobs that he didn't quit until the night before we aired on Shark Tank. And we were already in Goop, Free People, all these places, and he still was too scared to quit.
I don't know. I believe in if we're talking about mindset, I believe in the mentality of like, you need to believe something is going to be a success.
Yeah.
And that means quitting your job. It also needs your attention.
So opposite advice here.
You
have to decide, do you take Lana's or mine?
That's why it's a hot take.
Hot take. Okay, is getting to your first $1 million hard in revenue?
I don't think it's complicated.
Okay.
I think that there are so many tools out there now that actually make the first $1 million easy. I think that, post $1 million is much harder.
Totally
the beginning
agree.
stages is the fun part.
It's really, you just have to get creative and hustle your ass off.
This is when you're like obsessed with it. You're hustling. You want to talk about it to everybody anyway. Like, I think that most people should be able to get there.
Okay. Last one. We talk about speed a lot and speed to launch. Is speed more important or is originality more important?
Originality is more important. But I do think you have to do things fast. This is a hard one.
This is funny because we have opposite answers on a lot of hot takes. I like it. I actually think speed is more important because right now I think there's 1,000 legging brands. Yeah. And yes, I do think you need like an original hook if you're launching a legging brand, like lymphatic drainage or whatever it is. But I think speed is more important because once you get it out into the world, you can iterate, become more creative, figure out what doesn't work. And so I think I've seen too many people have an idea and just like they're frozen. So I'm like speed and then originality can come.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you actually. I think that it's pace to market. Mm-hmm. I think there also is a lot to say about being first to market.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then there's also, but if you're not, like, don't be afraid because there's like the famous story of the linen year where basically I think Brooklinen, Parachute, and what's the third famous one? Boll and Branch. They all launched the same year and they kind of grew the category together.
And they're all big, right?
Yeah, and they're all huge.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I think it's good to have someone in, depending on like how unique your idea is. But if you have someone already doing it, they're just like setting the tone for like, this is something that you like buy online or you get comfortable with, or like, you know, I'm sure like spending hundreds of dollars on fucking sheets online wasn't like what everyone wanted to do.
You have
like
to get
they wanted to
comfortable
feel
with it.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone else is already in the market doing that, they're just like setting the landscape.
Yeah. Somebody may see the Parachute ad and say, oh, that's intriguing, but not yet. And then Brooklinen comes down and they press purchase then.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay. Thank you.